So not only has Tricefy been able to provide a cloud-based service that is both partitioned and accessible, but you're really taking advantage of the labeling and status feature that Tricefy offers. I don't know anyone else that has quite such an extensive list of labels and statuses. Would you be able to show us some of the everyday functionality of how you use those Tricefy labels with the IMBIS program?
Yeah, for sure. I've gotten a hard time for the number of labels that we have in our system here. Let me pull up Tricefy. Yeah, so a big part of our workflow up front was not just doing this from a clinical standpoint, but really doing this from an educational standpoint, recognizing that going forward, there was going to be a lot of need across internal medicine for educational aspects of point of care ultrasound. So when our studies come in, when they come in wirelessly to Tricefy, we have those studies come in. We know where they came from, who did them. They get reviewed then on Tricefy. And for example, here, if we take this middle study and we look over here at the right side under the labels function, when a study comes in, if we think that it's an important set of educational items that are included in the study, we'll take that study and we'll move it into our educational archive. And that study will then live there for almost eternity and become an archive of studies that someone can go back from an educational standpoint and look at. So the labeling function has really let us do that. And if you look at the labels that are added to this study over here, we have a huge list of labels that are organized by category. So
wow.
Labels. And if we move down here, here's some ACLS labels from our code ultrasounds. Here's our cardiovascular labels, and so on and so forth, HENT. So when a study comes in, we take the labels that are appropriate for that study and we add them. But what this allows someone to do then is go into the educational archive and type into the search field, CV, and then tricuspid valve, and be able to find all of the tricuspid stenosis cases, all of the tricuspid regurgitation cases, and be able to review those from an educational aspect. It also allows us to be able to use specific studies for presentations if we want to go find a great example of something to put into a presentation. This is a really robust, this is 2,200 educational studies here, it looks like currently, in our educational archive from over the years.
You also use, in conjunction with the label function, you use the status feature, and that together can be a very powerful tool. Can you talk a little bit about how you use that status feature in conjunction with the labels?
Yeah, so in our main archive here, where I'll take you, when a study comes in, it gets labeled. You can see this one carries the status of reviewed, and keep this one for the educational archive. So this one's going to move into that place we just were, and we'll hang out there for a long time. The status allows us to assign some big categories that then allow us to move things and sort things in a more logical way that we can go back and find things.
And this is all very easy to set up. You can go into your account settings, you can customize the labels and the statuses, and now I can see how quickly you are updating the status, and you do that simply by double clicking and it will go into the next available status until you have the one that you would like.
Exactly, and even one step easier is we have some automation rules set up such that if on the machine when I'm doing a procedure, I type in a specific code word, when that study comes into Trice, it automatically gets the status of keep. This is a procedure. So the status feature has been really important for us, especially from that procedural aspect, being able to say, I want this study when it lands in Tricefy to have this specific status. You can do that at the machine level with a little bit of rule building that was done on my end as well. Yeah, let me show you how I use status and labels together here on a study that comes into Tricefy. So if we open up this study here, we're going to go into it and look at what this study is. And we're going to identify a couple things on this study that are present. There's a little bit of aortic regurgitation, for example, here. And so if I type in CV and aortic valve, and now I'm going to select regurgitation, that populates a label for that. And then at the same time, either in here, I can set this status to keep it for the educational archive, which I can do right there. Otherwise, when I'm back out at the study level, I can change that now to not reviewed and delete, not keep for follow-up, but keep that one for education. And then the study will move into the educational archive with that label attached to it.
Thank you for showing. It certainly is powerful to see how you use the label and status together in how you keep such a large database organized. It makes it so easy to search. It makes it so easy to find key and specific pieces that you're looking for. Thank you for showing us how you use the label and status feature together.